All right, on this episode of the LPDS, we get into, I don't want to say politics, but we get into politically related stuff. You'll see what I'm talking about, obviously. Talk Yankees playoffs predictions. And then we get we get into a little bit of a scenario situation and a question I have for the audience over in the Junction. So all that plus a Cage fact coming up right now. All right, Jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to the Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I'm your host, Libretti, show that talks about nothing but tries to find the lessons and everything. We have a good time doing it. If I sound like I'm better than you, if I sound like I think I'm better than you, and if you're seeing that in YouTube land, it's because I am now better than all of you. And that's because I voted early. Okay, so if I have a little bit of extra machismo, a little extra, air about me in the tone of my voice or how I'm looking, it's because I am better than everybody now. Because I voted early in the election. I voted. It's done. I did it before everybody else. Basically, everybody else listening here, if you haven't voted already, you're less than me. Okay. And that's really all I have to say about that. I'm just better now. According to all the trends on the internet, once you get that I voted sticker, you're better than everybody else. And they have to let you know about it. It's in dating profiles. It's on Instagram profiles. It's on Facebook, probably on TikTok as well. And I finally got one. I voted. I've always voted, but I never felt better than anybody else because I always did absentee ballots because I was in the military. So it was always absentee. And you don't get a sticker for that. They don't send a sticker in the mail because you're still beneath the regulars that show up in person to do their duty, their civil obligation to vote. But now I do feel better because I have the badge of honor, apparently, because that's what that is. To some people, this is a badge of honor that you voted, so you're better than other people who didn't vote or who didn't wear the sticker. It's like the Seinfeld episode when Kramer didn't want to wear the AIDS ribbon on the AIDS walk. He was doing all the work. He did the walk. He supported the cause. He donated his time and money. But because he didn't wear the ribbon, he's a piece of garbage. And that's the same with voting, folks. Okay, you got to hear from celebrities. You got to hear from athletes. You got to hear from even the WWE community now is chiming in. And I love wrestling. You know how I feel about wrestling and the WWE. But now even them, with all they're dripping with CTE and brain issues, and they're coming on and they're supporting, politics now, and they're talking about how you need to listen to them and vote for whoever candidate that they're voting for. And it's all both candidates. You got, I think, The Undertaker and Kane, his brother Kane, endorsed Trumpy Bear. You have the Animal Batista made this whole dramatic video of him pretending to do his UFC stuff in the ring and train and talk about he was voting for Kamala. I think you had Mick Foley, Mankind, talk about Kamala too. It's just everybody is an expert now in who you should vote for, regardless of their job and what they actually do for a living. So you got to listen to them. And the thing that they said was you're better if you put the sticker on and show off that you voted. So that's what I'm doing now. I finally have the badge of honor. It's going to go up in all my pictures. It's going to go everywhere because I need people to know that I did my due diligence and I'm better. And that's I'm taking this off. If you're watching YouTube Land, I'm taking this stupid thing off. Uh, I voted early because I didn't want to wait in lines, like 2 weeks from now. That's literally it. It was down the street from me, the little polling location. It took 10 minutes, and that was it. And I got this stupid sticker, and I hate the people. I almost had a bit of an argument with the lady in there. She was a nice lady, the volunteer, and I almost started something. I almost stirred the pot a little bit, but I chose not to. I took the LPDS step back and chose not to. But I submitted my ballot or whatever the hell, the form, and then she goes, "Oh, don't forget to take your sticker and wear it with pride." And I really wanted to let her have it for that. You're like, "No, I'm not wearing this fucking stupid sticker. Sorry, T Family Show." But she was a nice lady. She was just a dope. That's what is important to her. And I am not the arbiter of what is important to other people. I can only control what's important to me. So it would have been out of my depth to tell her that it's stupid. Now I know it's stupid. The sticker's stupid. It doesn't mean anything. I didn't have a sticker for the last 4 elections or whatever I was able to vote in. I don't even remember. And I don't feel any worse. I know people think that because I didn't put the sticker on. Oh, maybe you didn't vote. No, idiot. I'm not wearing the stupid sticker, and I want to tell you who I voted for anyway because it's none of your damn business. And if it's that important to you, then I know that your brain and your life is too controlled by stupid stuff like that, and I don't want to have that conversation with stupid people like that. So that's that. But I did vote. It's People go on these long diatribes, and I'm being a hypocrite probably right now by talking about it. People go on these long diatribes about how they feel about doing their patriotic duty of voting. Everybody who votes in anything does this stuff. There's always at least one person who does this. The people in the MLB Hall of Fame do it all the time. The sports writers, the people with zero athletic ability who for some reason get to vote on who gets into the Baseball Hall of Fame, always do this. Tom Verducci, who went to my high school, and his father's a legend from my high school, legendary coach and what have you. They named a field after him. I remember, I'll never forget the one year he made this whole like 5-minute video about him placing his votes for the MLB Hall of Fame. And he has like close-up video of him with his ballot in front of him, and then he seals it in the envelope and he submits it, and it was his duty and it was an honor and privilege, and what a big significant thing. And then him and his other dopey cronies vote guys like Scott Rowland into the Hall of Fame. He's like a 280 career batting average, and he's a Hall of Famer because he's a nice guy, and St. Louis loved him. So you did all that pomp and circumstance and all the dramatics to vote some jabroni in. Now, granted, he was a professional baseball player, so he's obviously better than me, but that doesn't mean everybody makes it to the Hall of Fame just because you're a nice guy and people liked you. So all that for nothing, to waste your vote on just to vote in a dope, just to vote in a person that should not have been eligible for the Hall of Fame. There's plenty of those examples out there. So long story longer, it's nothing to brag about that you voted. Okay? I exercise my right to vote because there are certain things that I hold valuable in my life. And if I have even a 0.001% influence in who's going to be leading over me in any capacity, I'd like to be able to do that, to have that influence if I can. Because that's what I can control. Maybe that 0.00001% chance that the person leading over me, more so locally than on the federal level, because the president doesn't really affect me too much. Doesn't affect many people too much, honestly. We're just not that educated on what presidential powers are and where the power is in the House and Senate and all that malarkey. Anyway, so I do it because I want to have the ability to have a little bit of a say in who gets to tell me what to do in my life. And also, if you don't vote, that's fine. That's okay. But there's that whole argument of if you don't vote, then you don't get to talk about your thoughts and opinions on it. I I don't know how I feel about that. You can argue that. I don't. You can voice your opinion about anything without having. Not voting is a vote, if you will. Okay, or you can do a write-in or whatever. Again, all this is to say, if you are educated in who's running for what and what position means what and what powers and authorities each position has, go out and vote. Go for it. If you don't have that education, you could still vote. I'm not going to tell you not to, but it would be nice if people educated themselves a little bit more. I hate that whole thing of like the pressure that they put on people in the final month of an election. Like, make sure you register to vote and go vote and go vote and don't forget to vote in this vote. But never, hey, educate yourself on the voting process, what you're voting for, what it all means, what authorizations these people will have, what their jobs hold, how it directly affects you and your family and your region. They don't give a shit about that. As long as you vote, and really as long as you vote for their guy. And I say this every 4 years. It's a broken record about it, I know. But don't forget, get out and vote, I guess, folks. Whatever. So that's that. Now I don't have to worry about it. I can sit on my ass on November 5th and not have to stand in long lines. I could still fill out an absentee ballot if I wanted to, which is crazy because I got one in the mail from a different state that I don't live in anymore or registered in anymore. So if I wanted to commit voter fraud, that's a third election in a row. I would be able to do that. So that's the good oversight and security of our elections. That's great. Anyway, speaking of elections and voting and ballots and what have you, there was quite the uproar in my photo that I posted on Instagrams earlier last week or whenever you're seeing this, a couple weeks ago. For those who didn't see it, I posted a sample ballot. It said clearly on the thing, sample ballot, and it had the choices for president, and then the write-in option was checked off, and it said Sarge Libretti in there and circled. And it was a Maryland sample ballot sheet, like an example ballot that you get in the mail, that everybody gets in the mail. And somebody sent it to me as a joke, and I posted it. And I can't tell you how many people emailed me or DM'd me through Instagram about that. Either they didn't read the whole thing at all and thought I was being serious and got mad at me for that. How could you write that in? This is, you're wasting your vote doing a write-in. This is so stupid. No, you're going to be the only one voting for yourself. How stupid is that? You should take this more seriously. This is your country we're talking about here. And I just answer with like a ... Like, did you read this at all? And then they finally read it and they're like, oh, I didn't see the sample. And the sample, it was right across the entire document of the photo. And then it also says in the top, like, Maryland. And anybody who knows me knows I don't live in Maryland anymore. Haven't for quite some time. So I don't want to call those people stupid. That group of people, I don't want to call them stupid. I'll call them because I don't want to be judgy. I'm sure they're smart people in other ways, but I don't want to call them stupid. I would say that they lack observational skills, and they also allow their emotions to dictate their reactions to things. They let their emotions dictate how they respond to things without taking the LPDS step back. They probably don't follow the big three very well. And they saw one thing immediately, and their muscle memory tells them, I have to target this person. This person did something that I don't like, and I have to respond to that immediately before It's a shoot first, ask questions later situation. So that's what I will attribute that to. People with low observational skills, very little self-awareness or awareness in general, and they still allow their emotions to dictate how they respond to things. And I feel bad for those people. Those people a lot of times need serious mental health assistance and aid. So I try to empathize with them because that's a serious thing that they need help with. And it's just manifested in how they react to things that are obviously jokes. I couldn't, unless I wrote the word joke on the photo, I couldn't have been more clear and obvious that it was fake. I also didn't use my real name. Even if I wrote Sarge Libretti, that's invalid. That's not a real person. That person could not go run for president. They don't exist. So if those people are listening right now, I still love you. I would ask you in the future to use a little critical analysis. Take a deep breath before you decide to respond to anything in life, before you could take in the information visually or audibly or whatever, before you decide to react aggressively in any way, shape, or form. That's all I ask. You looked stupid. Okay, I will say you guys looked stupid. If you did that and you DM'd me, I know you're not stupid. I'm not calling you stupid, but it certainly looked stupid. It looked like a stupid person responded. And I know you guys aren't stupid if you're listening to this and you were one of those people. I know you're not stupid. You just low observational skills, and your emotions get the best of you. Got it. Well, we can figure that out together. Call me. We do that with Spearhead Leadership all the time. The second group of people are the people that take life too seriously. And they preempted their anger and disgust saying, I know this was a joke, but ... And then they went into this diatribe of how you shouldn't be joking about this stuff. This is a serious thing. People are going to see that and think you are voting for that. And maybe they'll write in Sarge Libretti too. And this and this and that. And this is our freedoms we're worried about. And this is the most important election of our lives. And this, and if you are in that group and you DM'd me, I also don't think you're stupid. I don't think I'm better than you. I don't think I'm better than anybody, except for the people who didn't vote. I'm better than you. But I will say this. My recommendation to you is don't take life too seriously, okay? It's not that serious. Anybody with a quarter of a brain working at any given moment would have seen that and known this person's not voting. They're not doing that. A sample ballot joke. And also, I am not going to use this and be like, oh, well, he wrote this person in. I'm also going to write in Sarge Libretti. They're going to know it's a joke and they can slough it off. If you got offended by it, if you took it seriously, I'm sorry. That was not my intent. But you also have to take some sort of self-responsibility and accountability of why are you taking that so seriously? Why does that offend you? Why is this bothering you? Why do you take your life that seriously, where something that's so inconsequential to you is having that much of an effect on your life? It's really just not that serious, folks. I was surprised by the amount of backlash I got on that. I think it's funny. I think the backlash is funny. I thought the joke was funny. It goes along the lines of what I've been joking about this entire time we've had this podcast about Libretti for president. It's been like a hashtag on every LPDS post for the past 4.5 years. So it shouldn't come as a surprise when the fake ballot comes up and it says Sarge Libretti on it. Libretti for president. It's been the bit here at the LPDS the entire existence of this show. So it's not a departure from our jokes here and what we do here. And that's why it was so surprising that people just decided, oh, now he's being serious and he's being irresponsible. And I'm irresponsible for a whole host of other things. I thought I was being the most responsible here because I was committing to a very long-term joke here on the show. And all those who appreciate comedy in any regard, I think would appreciate that. Even if you think the joke's not funny, being able to do that callback from a joke that started 4.5 years ago, appreciate that. Okay? And get help. Both of those groups, please get help. Okay? If you missed the joke or you took it too seriously and it offended you and bothered you regardless of you knowing it's a joke, you guys need help. Okay? I need help for other things all the time. So I'm not saying I'm, like I said, I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else, but for this particular thing, you probably need help for this thing, for letting that get to you so much. And I was shocked. Like I said, I was shocked who was reaching out and getting up in arms about that stuff. It was funny and also a little sad. But anyway, I'm still going to post that stuff. If you think that's going to prevent me from posting jokes like that in 4 years from now, think again. Okay? In fact, in 4 years from now, my name will be probably printed on the ballot. Sarge Libretti, printed up right there for you to actually check off. And then I'll post my ballot on there. And it'll be a real ballot, and there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. So, joke's going to be on you guys. Anyway, moving on. That's the political talk I wanted to bring up. That's all I'm saying about it. We can't even joke about stuff. It was such an obvious joke. Don't make me think you're stupid. As I talk about it more, I'm getting angrier, and you're making me think that you people are stupid. And I know you're not stupid. But it was such an obvious joke and lighthearted and not serious. Get over it. Get over yourselves. Damn it. Anyway, moving on. World Series. I'm recording this on purpose before the game one of the World Series because I want to put my prediction out there now to see if we're right. And I don't want it to be based off of hindsight or anything like that. Okay. I think, obviously, I want the Yankees to win. Okay. I think the Yankees could win in 7 games. And I'm probably saying that more so because I want them to win and not so much so because I think they're going to win. I'm very nervous. I think the Dodgers are a better team. I think the Dodgers pitching is not great, mainly because they have a bunch of super studs who are all hurt that would have easily shut the Yankees down. So that definitely helps the Yankees, but I don't know if the Yankees offense is good enough to do enough damage to mitigate the Dodgers offense. Because I don't know if the Yankees pitching is better than the Mets pitching overall. But we saw how the Dodgers scored and played against the Mets pitching. Okay, they scored double-digit runs almost every game. The 2 games that they didn't, they lost those games. Every other game, they scored basically double-digit runs. I think almost every game. Okay, they were taking pitches. They weren't chasing. They were getting on base. They were drawing a lot of walks and then getting hits and hitting them in. And then a bunch of home runs too. Their offense is dangerous. They have definitely a better offense overall than the Yankees. Guy for guy, like Aaron Judge, better than Ohtani. Ohtani's having a better postseason, which is just a fact. I hate to say it because he's a fraud and a gambling addict, and he threw his best pal under the bus, Ipe, his trench guy. But this postseason, Ohtani is doing better than Judge. Stanton's probably doing better than any of the offensive players on both teams. And then Soto is also very good. But the Dodgers have Mookie Betts is playing well. Max Muncy is doing okay at the plate. Pretty damn okay. They got the Kike Hernandez. That loser is doing pretty damn good. There's the other guy who's like 4 for 4 in the final game against the Mets. I forgot his name. Not Edwards. I forgot his name. I think he might have won MVP. I don't remember. I don't know. But the long story short, and if Freddie Freeman's healthy, He's dangerous at the plate. They have a deeper offensive lineup than the Yankees do. The Yankees have Soto, Glaber's doing very well, Stanton, and any day now somebody's hoping that Judge breaks out and actually plays like Aaron Judge, regular season Aaron Judge, and not playoff Judge. That's it. So they have like 3 guys, 2.5 to 3 guys. The rest of their offense is a complete crapshoot. You can't count Rizzo. Rizzo's got a lot of hits. Every single one has been a bases empty single. The only thing that's good for is later in the game, they can pinch run for him to get a faster guy on the base pass to steal a base and get in scoring position. So that's helpful in the later innings if they need it. Otherwise, bases empty singles, great, cool, thanks for that. Your defense has been a poopy, so you're breaking even with that. So we got to figure that out. The Yankees bullpen has been doing surprisingly well, with the exception of obviously Clay Holmes when he has to pitch with the game on the line. Pitch him in the 5th, 6th inning, and he'll be fine. Pitch him when the game's on the line and there's not enough, and it's a do or die situation. He's blowing the game. We all know that. That's he can't not. It's like he's wired to do that. He can't not blow games. So you have to put him in a position where he can't. It's like the Incredible Hulk. Like once he gets into that environment, it's over. He can't control himself. He has to blow the game. And we know that. That's where the Yankees management, Aaron Boone, comes in. That's where he's at fault. You know the guy, that's his Achilles heel. If the game is on the line, he will blow it. He has to. That's how he's wired. So don't put him in when the game is on the line. That's it. That's all you have to do. You know his weakness, and you can thwart it very easily. So hopefully they do that. And then he'll be okay to pitch, and he'll be a decent addition to the bullpen. The other guys historically are not great, but they've been stepping it up. And I hope they continue to do so. But we also know that the Dodgers have been looking at them throughout the postseason, so they're going to be making adjustments accordingly. They all know that Tommy Kahnle has thrown 300 straight changeups, which, if you've ever played baseball before, the changeup is a pitch designed to complement an additional pitch, your fastball. It's a changeup. It's a speed change up from your fastball. It's the speed change that usually gets the batters, because you think they throw it just like a fastball. It looks like a fastball, but it comes in slower. It speeds their bat up, and they swing early and miss because they're expecting fastball. That's the point of a changeup. So when you throw only changeups, that just becomes your fastball. Your fastball is now 88 miles an hour with sink. It's got good movement. Maybe that's what's doing it. Maybe that's the key. It's got good movement, his changeup. Or every time he throws it, they think there's no way he's going to throw it again. There's no way he's going to throw it for the 301st time, and then he does it again. Oh, there's no way this time he's going to throw it, and he does it again. Maybe that's what the mindset is. It's like they're just waiting. The law of averages. At some point, he's going to have to come in with a fastball. And he's just like, no, I don't. I'm just going to keep throwing changeups. So I don't know, but the Dodgers are going to be ready for that, I think. They're also not going to chase, so I don't know if Lewis Heel should be pitching at all. Maybe he has a short leash, a 1-inning stint. Stop with the thumbs up on YouTube. Damn it, I'm not even putting thumbs up on YouTube. Lewis Heel, his bread and butter, because he has no control over his pitches, is to get guys to chase. So as long as they stand up there and don't swing the bat, he's eliminated. That's it. He's going to walk everybody because he can't throw 3 strikes before he throws 4 balls in an at-bat. He just can't do it. He's done it maybe once in his career so far. So that's a dangerous situation because they don't chase the Dodgers. And Garrett Cole has to be on when he pitches. And Clark Schmidt has to pitch like Garrett Cole when he pitches. And Carlos Rodon has to pitch like Garrett Cole when he pitches. Basically, everybody has to turn into prime Garrett Cole when they get on the mound. And then the bullpen has to be basically relief Garrett Cole's to be able to shut him down. And you have to make sure Luke Weaver does not have to pitch 2-inning saves every game. Okay? Because there's a shelf life on his success, and it ends in a home run. Okay? And we don't want to do that. We know his weakness. The longer he pitches, the more times he's gonna give up a home run. The more chance of him giving up a home run. A big home run, too. When you're a closer, those home runs are big. Okay? You're in there to shut the door and finish the game. So 1 inning. The bullpen has to get him to the 9th inning. Give him 3 outs only. If he has to do 4 or more outs, you're playing a dangerous game. You're walking a thin tightrope. Don't do it. If they could do all that and they have one more guy in the bottom of the lineup that's going to be at least a pest down there to the pitchers, they can do it. I think it's going to take 7 games, but I think they could do it. Now, I'm saying all this before I even see a pitch thrown in the games because I don't want to be tainted by hindsight. Because what if the Yanks blow them out game 1? Or what if the Dodgers blow out the Yanks and then it's all, then it's easy. Oh, they blew out Garrett Cole. The Yanks have no chance because Carlos Rodon and Clark Schmidt are not Garrett Cole. Okay? If they blow out the Dodgers, then it's like, oh, good. We'll see. There's a chance. Maybe they could do it unless I don't want to be tainted by that. I want to be right or wrong before the series starts. I think the Yankees could. It's not going to. What's crazy is I think it'd be a shock to the world if they did win, but it's not because they were favored to win somehow. I don't think they're good enough to be. I think they were favored to win because the Dodgers pitching was all injured, but I don't know. What I'm really hoping is that the what is the word I'm thinking of? Not axiom, but there's been a long-standing sort of understanding, if you will, or things that we have known that the AL offensively, like the AL is usually better than the NL. A lot of the times it had to do, it was easier to say that because the NL didn't have a DH and the pitchers had a bat. So that leaves them with only 8 offensive positions as opposed to the 9, the 9th batter, because the pitcher is not going to spend a lot of time hitting in the offseason. They're pitchers first. So it was a lot easier to make that argument that the AL is just better than the NL because the pitchers have to bat and they stink, and those are automatic outs for the most part. But now they have DHs. Ohtani's a DH. Most of the time he's been DH this year. I don't think he's pitched at all, honestly. He might have pitched a little bit. I don't remember. But so you can't really say that anymore. So you have to go off of the standard hope that the AL is still better than the NL in general. But even then, I don't know, because Mookie Betts came from the AL. He was on Boston for a while. Ohtani came from the Angels. They stunk, but he's an AL guy. Several other players on the team have come from AL teams. So I don't know. Who's to say? That's just an old wives' tale that the AL is better than the NL historically. So we'll see how it goes. I really want the Yankees to win. I don't think they're going to be able to pull it off. I'm still hopeful. I just think that this is where their holes catch up to them. If they don't have Yankee magic, if they don't have playoff magic where things click like it did against the Guardians, it's going to be tough. Now, playoff magic's big. It's a big factor. So maybe that's what they're banking on, is that the playoff magic fills all the holes that they've allowed to be in their roster and their lineup for this entire season. But we'll see how it goes. I still want them to win. I'm still going to be cheering if they win it all. I'll be ticker taping like my life depended on it if they win. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, by that time this post, there'll be 2 games at least in the books, and we'll have a good understanding. I am recording this Friday before game 1. So that's how my prediction is based off of that. It's already outdated. We'll see how right I end up being. And then next week, we'll talk about it. Next week, it'll be over. And we'll talk about it. Anyway, now we can get into the good stuff, I guess. And we can step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Bobby's Bailouts. Did you recently get pinched and are too scared to call your parents to bail you out of jail because you know they won't and they'll get mad at you, but you don't have the stones to stay in there and not drop the soap until your next hearing? Then call Bobby's Bailouts today. Bobby will provide you with the upfront bail money, no questions asked, no mention of anything to your parents, and only charge you a small interest rate of 29% on the payback. Bobby recently came into a lot of money through methods that remain none of your concern, and he's looking to launder it somehow, so he formed Bobby's Bailouts to provide this charitable service to his fellow riffraff. So to get bailed out today, just call 1-800-HELP-ME and use the promo code SOAPDOPE for $1 off your first repayment. That's stupid. Anyway, the Cage fact. Nic Cage received another accolade. I don't remember what it was. I should have wrote it down. That's not important. He's always getting accolades. He deserves all of them. But before the presentation, he was doing an interview on like their red carpet or whatever, and he was talking about the emergence of AI in the film industry and the worry he has about it. And to be as objective as possible, the worries he mentioned seemed valid to me. So let me explain here. He was talking about this new AI that they have called employment-based digital replicas. So what he was saying that they do, and I think he had to do it for the cameo in The Flash, where they body and face scan you. And then they use that to, right now, they're only using it in post-production to like edit your face or change the way you say something or change how you look when you're in a particular scene if they want it to be better or different or whatever. But his worry is that when you sign this over, is there going to be fine print that you're signing your rights away, your IP as an actor to whoever owns this digital based replica, this what is it? EBDR. And he was sort of giving a warning to the actors out there that, your tools, like you're not in a band, like the band's instruments are the drums and the guitar and the what have yous. Your instrument is you. You're the tool, so to speak. Some of them are tools. A lot of them are tools. So be mindful, read the fine print before you agree to do these scans and do this stuff to make sure that they're not going to own your rights after you're dead. And he said they're already starting to do that with guys like James Dean. They're trying to make a movie with him. All his digital replica, it's all, obviously he's dead, like in a Vietnam movie, but it's all AI James Dean. It's because somebody owns the rights to James Dean still because he died, and I don't know how that works for him particularly, but that's what he's a little bit worried about because as it advances, as the AI advances, they're not going to necessarily need actors to be as involved anymore because they can AI fix everything eventually. That's the worry. So that's the Cage fact. He's winning awards and he's worried about AI. So be careful about your instrument out there, folks. Anyway, moving on over to the Junction. Spin the logo up. Now, I want to give a quick caveat. This is Halloween week. I usually have a costume. The past couple of years I've had a costume. I don't have a costume this year. And it's not because I didn't want to. It's just because I didn't forget. I just didn't budget enough time to focus on costumery this year, doing Spearhead stuff and other opportunities to help Spearhead and all this other stuff I got going on. Those took priority. So I chose not to take the time to come up with a costume idea, purchase it, whatever I had to do, fashion it, and then be good to go. Um, Not to mention, I'm not going to any like Halloween parties or anything like that, so I don't really need a costume otherwise. So it dropped low enough on my priority list that I didn't do it this year. That's not to say I don't love Halloween still. I still love it. I'm excited for it. I'll get candy again. We'll see if people come by. Probably not. They never come to my house. Everybody in the nation knows where I live and knows not to come to my house for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I don't decorate the outside of my house. I don't know. Maybe I'll buy a skeleton last minute and put it out there and say, Happy Halloween, welcome. I don't know. But I like Halloween. It's the beginning of the Holy Holiday Triumvirate. We talk about this every year. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. It's also part of the winter arc that we discussed earlier. Everybody's going to be in hibernation mode, holiday hibernation mode, not caring about stuff, not trying to grind and get after it. But we at the Junction are in our winter arc. We're going to get after it. So if you're wondering why I wasn't Halloweened up, that's why. But I'm still going to be celebrating Halloween as best I can. So that's that. Happy Halloween to everybody. Happy early, late Halloween, whenever you're listening to this. I hope you guys did some cool stuff. If you have costumes, if you did matching family costumes or something like that, send them on over, and we could post on a future episode to see what you guys came up with, or we could post it on the Instagram, whatever. Just like fans of the LPDS, this is what they did for Halloween. Whatever you want to do, send them over. Or call the hotline and let us know how your Halloween went. And if you have any cool stories, 202-670-1114. I have a lot of cool Halloween stories. I told a lot. Back in high school, me and my friend dressed up as pizza delivery guys, and we would knock on people's doors like we're actually delivering pizza and try to get money out of them. It didn't go very well. I think we got chased out of a house by a guy, but that's what we did. We were stupid. One year, I think I talked about this, where our buddy DBD dressed as Ronald McDonald and got drunk and was crying about something, about losing the love of his life, and all the makeup was running, and it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. He looked like a despicable, sinister serial child rapist. Can't say. I'll bleep that out. Crying. The makeup was running. He looked scary. Talk about a scary Halloween costume. He looked scary. So if you have good Halloween stories, send them on over. 202-670-1114 for the hotline. Now, the topic I want to get into is more of a question. But it comes with a scenario and a situation I found myself in, or not myself specifically, but I went to the gym recently, as I always do, and I get to the locker room, and there's a homeless guy in the locker room. He's not living there, but he has a locker. I don't know if it's his locker. He was using a locker, and he had all his stuff laid out on a bench, and he was clearly he was finishing up a shower. I don't know if he actually worked out. I didn't ask for sure if he was homeless, but he had his cardboard sign with him, so that made me think he was homeless and not just dressing up for Halloween. He had a lot of stuff. It looked like the amount of stuff a person who didn't have a home would be carrying with them as their home. That's their bindle. Now, at first, I was a little bit annoyed because this is the gym we pay for. This and it's not a huge gym either. And the initial emotional thought I had was, this guy's taking up shower space, locker space, the whole corner of the locker room he had with his gear. that you couldn't use those lockers. Who knows what he's got bugs and disease-wise that he's bringing into the gym. Who knows if he went in the sauna, was using the sauna and germing that up with homeless filth and what have you. So initially I was like, we gotta stop, gotta get these bums out of here. But the other side of me took the LPDS step back and thought, this guy's got nothing. He's living in Texas in the heat. Even in the winter, it was 87 degrees today in the middle of October. And he's got to go do bum things outside in the sun all day. So maybe they were just helping him out. Maybe he gave them a couple bucks. I don't know what the situation. I don't know what the relationship between him and the gym is. And he was keeping to himself for the most part. He wasn't like a schizo or a drug addict where where they're just yelling at themselves and causing a ruckus. He was keeping to himself. He was spread out a little bit too much for my liking, but he wasn't bothering anybody. He was just doing his thing. And I thought, this gym, the people at the gym are just being nicer, letting him shower and clean up. Maybe he's trying to apply for jobs and he can't look like a bum when he's applying for these jobs. He has to look as respectable as possible. So maybe they're helping him out with that. Maybe he paid them. Maybe he only has enough money for this gym membership because allows him to clean and exercise and get indoors for a little bit. Now, again, initially I wanted him out. And the argument that I'm trying to decipher which way I want to lean towards is this okay? Or should gyms not be allowing homeless into their facilities like that? Now, again, if the guy's paying, if he's technically a member, it's not exactly an expensive gym, and he doesn't have any other bills to pay, apparently, because he's homeless, then he's a member. Then he's a paying member, so he belongs to the gym. But if he's not, what do we do about that? At what point? And I don't know I'm not saying I know the answer and there's a right or wrong answer, but this is sort of like an ethical conundrum that you can talk through, to your friends about when you're at Buffalo Wild Wings at the bar, hanging with your friends. You want to talk about something important. At what point does the kind charitable thing become a nuisance and a problem to the paying members of the establishment, of the business side? Now, I bring it up to you guys. You could think about it, and you can chime in later on at the hotline if you want, or you can DM me or send a text or whatever you want on your thoughts on it all. But on one hand, it's just a kind thing to do. It's the generous thing to do to help this person out, help him get cleaned up, get inside out of the heat, allow them to wash up and get their affairs in order a little bit. Absolutely. But on the other hand, you're not running a charity. You're running a for-profit fitness facility, or any facility for that matter, any for-profit facility. Now, the liquor store next door could have done the same thing. They could have allowed him to use the facilities back there that they have if they wanted to, and it's the same sort of conundrum. Now, do they have a shower? Probably not. So it's less likely that a homeless guy is going to want to go in there and clean up than a fitness center that actually has a locker room and facilities to use, bathrooms, showers, what have yous. But it's the same question that would apply. Now, I always believe that, and this is from a leadership standpoint too, caring about people is always going to trump profits as far as what you care about the most. Because I think in the long run, on the business end of things, you're going to get more profits and success by caring about your people. That's just going to be a result of you being a good leader and following your process effectively. That's a result. That should never be the goal. The goal should not be how do we make more money. The goal should be how do we provide our product or service to as many people as we can in in a way that makes them want to come back and they feel taken care of, and we're actually providing value to these people. And when you backwards plan that and you lead your people appropriately, you care about them, and you inspire them to care about the team and to care about their customers. Those customers are going to come back. They're going to refer other customers. The profits will be part of the result there, but it should not be the goal. So on that hand, I'm okay with the bum being there and being taken care of. If it's a one-off situation. Because on the other hand, it is a business, okay? And you have hundreds of people who pay monthly various rates, because sometimes they offer discounted rates during holidays and stuff like that. You have hundreds of people at this facility at any given time, or just hundreds of members who pay for these services. They pay to use the locker room, to use the sauna, to use the shower, to use the gym equipment, to use the different rooms, to be in the shelter, in the cool, the air-conditioned facility. We're paying for all of that. Why do this group of people don't get to not pay? Now, this is, again, if he's not paying. If he's paying, if all he can afford is a gym membership, he's a paying member, it's a moot point. Then he has to follow, though, the customs and courtesies of the gym, which is to be clean, don't litter, re-rack your weights. And that's a different argument altogether. And then I can tell him, hey, listen, bum, you got to clean up your crap so we can use the locker room. We're all paying members here. But I didn't know for sure what his deal was, so I wasn't gonna do that at that time. But what is your threshold, really? That's what it really comes down to. Because there's no right or wrong answer. I mean, there's an obviously like, oh, if you just let all the bums in, then it becomes a bum shelter, and nobody's gonna want to be a member there anymore, and you're gonna close your shop. So you don't want to get too crazy with it. But if your members see you being a complete asshole to bums trying to get in and not effectively navigating around that situation from a leadership standpoint, members are not going to like that either. They're going to be like, you guys don't care. All you care about is money and profits. You're pieces of garbage. So we're out. We're going to go to a different gym. So those are all considerations. But what is your threshold on allowing this sort of thing? Now, again, it's not an easy answer. So to some people, it might be easy. To me, it's not as easy. I think what I would do is I would try to have a conversation with the guy. If I have a conversation with somebody, in a few minutes, I can decently assess, at the very least, whether the person is like mentally unstable or a drunk or somebody that's going to be a problem that I can't really believe anything they're saying because I know, they're lying, or that they're schizo or a mental case or something, bipolar or whatever. You can also look at their arms and stuff. If they have a lot of track marks, maybe they're a drug addict, probably don't want to be, creating a professional arrangement with that sort of a person, because they're not going to be reliable. They're not going to be able to pay you for, to go use the shower because they're addicted to drugs. They're going to be going to buy drugs. If you can smell alcohol in your breath, same thing. If they're talking to you like the government's after them, because they got probed by aliens and you're trying to get the word out, like that person is probably not someone I want to continue having a conversation with and seeing if I could come up with an arrangement. But otherwise, if the person's just down on their luck, if they're like a disabled veteran who got down on their luck and now they're homeless, or if anybody lost their job, a bunch of other stuff happened for whatever reason, don't exactly know, but they're down and out, I might consider something where it's like, hey, listen, you got to provide something. If you have $5 for the month, I'll take the $5. Some of the memberships during the discounted rate are like $10 for the month. So then I can say you're a paying member. I could give you a thing for the month, and you just have to follow the rules that we have in the establishment. And if you can do that, we're good. And then you have a whole other month to come up with another $5. You could come up with a creative financing for these people because they can find $5 a month. It could work out. So I think that's probably what I would do for like one of these guys. That way, I'm helping somebody out as much as I can. Um, I'm not I'm not doing charity to the point where members are gonna start asking for charity for themselves because it's not fair. They're paying and this guy's not because this guy's now a paying member. And nobody knows who's paying what to be a member. Nobody knows when each person signed up and what their deal was. So if he's a paying member, that's it. He's a paying member. Doesn't matter what his deal was. If it's better than yours, too bad. You got the raw deal. You signed up for a higher rate. Wait for the next deal to come before you renew. I don't know. Figure that out. But that way you can as best you can do the right thing for somebody and be generous and kind to somebody, but also protect your business. Because at the end of the day, it's a business. Okay. If you want to get into full charity work, there are plenty of charities to do that. You can start your own nonprofit as well and go that route. It all plays. But I don't think I would be able to kick the guy. Like I wouldn't be able to kick the guy to the curb unless they're a drug addict, an alcoholic, or whatever. I might just say, listen, guy, I can't do it. I could give you a couple bucks to go, you know, get water and wash yourself off of water or whatever. But I can't, from the business side, I own this business. I can't be putting everybody out on their ass because I started this charity. I can't trust if they're a bad addict or a bad, mental case. That would probably be a no for me. But otherwise, I would try to what I would consider to be doing the right thing by that person is to figure out a way to make them become a member so that we get it done appropriately. And then it's also a very much a case by case basis. There's that risk though that he goes and tells all his bum friends, "Hey, this guy is a sucker, and he's letting me do this for only $5. I bet you he could do it too." And you run that risk. So I don't know what I would do in that if five more people start coming in. It's like, no, if at that point it's if you don't have money to be a member, you can't be a member. I'm sorry. This again, at the end of the day, it's not a charity. And you don't want your entire gym, you don't want to be paying member of a facility to go work out and exercise and then wash and go to the sauna and be clean in a locker room and come in and it's 10th city full of bums that have taken over the place because you wanted to be charitable. So anyway, long story short, that's all I say. And then the story is an hour long. There was a bum in my locker room and I don't know what to do about it. I'm curious. Should I ask management like, hey, do you mind giving me the rundown of this bum situation? Like, is he paying? Are you just being nice? Do you know he's a bum? Like, do you know is he a member? What, can you tell me the deal? Because if he's not paying and this is going to be a regular thing and he's just doing bum stuff in there, he's not working out, which is fine. I don't, less people on the equipment is better for me selfishly, but living out of the locker room is not great either. So what are we doing here? Again, the slippery slope is like, when do I get free sauna and shower access? Can I just tell you I've become a bum and then I can come here for free? How does that work? So I don't know. Maybe I'll ask the management if I see the guy again. What's the situation with the bum? Seems like a nice guy. He doesn't seem like a complete psycho. He hasn't been lashing out or anything too much. He hasn't asked for money yet. And who knows? Maybe it's a Halloween costume. Maybe it's a social experiment. Maybe he's not a real bum. And that's why he wasn't asking for money. I don't know. But we'll find out. Anyway, I am curious to get your thoughts. I'll repost a question about it on Instagram to go back to this episode. What would you do in this case? Bums or no bums? How would you approach this particular situation? So that we could talk about it in, a future episode to get your thoughts on it. I probably should have done it earlier, but I saw the bum like yesterday. So it wouldn't have been no point for me to put the question up for half a day, not even 24 hours to get, I want to give you guys time to mull this over as well. And who knows, in the next couple weeks, I might have a different opinion on it. I might have more information on the bum. Maybe he is the undercover boss. Maybe he's the CEO of the gym. So we'll find out. But I would like to get your thoughts on it. So stand by for that question to come up on the socials. And then if you're listening to this now and you want to chime in, you can DM, text. You can hit the hotline 202-670-1114. But that's all I got today, folks. That's it. So with that, before we go, really quick, the big three, the three pillars to staying strong and being a better, happier, kinder, less stressed, healthier, more genuine individual, and spreading that goodness and positivity to all those around you throughout the land. Number one, exercise every day, whether it's a physical, mental, or emotional exercise. Do something, one thing at least every day to improve your physical, mental, or emotional fitness and health. Number two, don't be a shitty person, be a kind person. When the opportunity arises to be shitty or angry or negative, before you send that DM going on and on about the freedom, the importance of this election and how it's the most important election of all time, and your joke wasn't funny, or this, you shouldn't be writing people in that aren't real, blah, blah, blah. Take the LPDS step back, take a deep breath, and omit yourself from the situation. Because you're not helping yourself out. You're not helping anybody out. That doesn't make people feel better. It doesn't change people's minds at all. All it does is add to the negativity and shit into the ether. And we're trying to minimize that. And it also gives you the capacity to go focus on more positive, productive things with your lives, because you're not spending your time letting your negative emotions get the best of you. Number three, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. And you could do this by thinking about one thing, at least one thing every day. As soon as you wake up in the morning, think about one good thing in your life and think about how shitty your life would be like without that thing. And if you do that, you're going to be putting yourself in a state of gratitude as opposed to taking things for granted. And if you couple that with not being a shitty person and being kind instead, and you couple that with exercising every day, I promise you guys, you'll be a better, happier, kinder, healthier, less stressed, more genuine human being. You'll be able to spread that positivity and goodness to all those around you throughout the land. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit those notifications and call that damn hotline, 202-670-1114. Tell me about your Halloween costumes. Tell me what you would do with the bum in the gym. I want to hear it all. Thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.